Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the DreamHack Austin 2017 Hearthstone Grand Prix. It is time for the grand finals. Mrlego versus Shoop. We started with over 200 players over the past 3 days. We've been playing some intense matches of Hearthstone, and now it's down to just 2. My name is CJ, joined on the desk by the Admiral, that's Admirable, as well as Noxious. Also, we have a guest appearance by the trophy itself. It may look a little small, but I'm just a giant, so we're gonna put it next to Noxious for a little bit of a better scale. There it is. It's bigger than his head. That's right.
It's good enough. Good enough for a trophy, right?
Also, $7,500 plus 15 Hearthstone Championship Tour points on the line for the winner. That's enough to qualify you for, or almost qualify you for just about all the preliminaries, or all the playoffs, I'm sorry. So pretty crazy stuff. A lot on the line for these guys.
Yeah, I don't know what the cutoff is, but I think above 20-ish, you're about to make it there. So 15 is a substantial amount.
Yeah, plus it counts towards your end of the year total. And a lot of these players are in the race for trying to be #1 in their region in points. If you're #1 in the region in points, you are automatically through to the World Championship. So getting a big major under your belt early on puts you in a great spot for that. And that's why this tournament has drawn competition from all over the world.
Yeah, Australia for Mrlego, and Shoop here from the United States. So pretty crazy to see. These guys have performed well across the entire Swiss, but notably have performed incredibly well throughout this top 16. Shoop with multiple 3-0s up until this point. Mrlego even with a couple 3-0s up until this point. So both these guys have had that success, but this will be a test for Mrlego because Shoop is not on Team Tempo Storm.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, he's beaten 3 Tempo Storm members up to this point, but he finds himself in the finals versus somebody else. And while Shoop has been active in the scene, at times he goes inactive due to the fact that he's an adult and he has a real job and stuff.
He's an adult.
Yeah, very
He's
unlike
playing a children's
me.
card game, but he's an adult.
Very unlike me in that vein. But in the last couple of years, he's found a lot of success in the tournament circuits he has competed on, namely the One Nation of Gamers circuit, where he has just had fantastic performances year over year there. And with Mrlego, this is the first time I've actually had the pleasure of watching him play the game, but he's had some very bright spots. A lot of times he's thought outside the box about particular situations. Maybe sometimes, like in the last match, I think he had an oversight in a couple spots, but for the most part, his thinking is spot on, and he's playing to not only the cards in his hand, but the cards that are in his deck as well.
He's got a little bit of a different lineup than what we've seen in on average in the top 8. He's got Hunter in his lineup, which may not seem like it's performed that well across the tournament, but there have been a couple players who have brought it and made it pretty far. Trump had Hunter in his lineup as well, and we've seen what the Hunter can do. If he gets off to a good start, if he curves out, it's hard to beat that Hunter, especially with some of the late game damage that they can push out with Eagle Horn Bow, Kill Command, as we've seen him win a few games with that. And so never underestimate that deck. And there's the players now setting up. Got to be nervous at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, you've made it so far. I think the nerves are, while peaking up, I think you've been able to control yourself up until this point. And if you keep that calm forward in the grand finals, I mean, sure, you're stressed, but you've played these guys before. Yeah,
there's the bracket. These guys rode to get where they are. Yeah. Mrlego, I mean, we said it, the Tempo Storm killer, took out Eloise in the round of 16, just saying in the round of 8, and Reynad in the semifinals that we just saw moments ago. Shoop himself has had a pretty tough run as well, having to take out Dog, who was perfect up until that point. He was 10-0 in matches up until that round of 8. And Trump as well, he had one of the most impressive performances throughout the Swiss. And again, he was looking like he was nigh unbeatable up until the point where Shoop 3-0'd him.
Yeah, that's something really to look at too, is the fact that, Noxious and I were talking about this backstage. We were looking at the Hunter deck and going, that actually could be a big facet to Mrlego winning this lineup, but he just beat Trump. Trump has a Hunter in his lineup, and he said that deck was performing fantastic for him all tournament long. Shoop just time and again has shown that he is very proficient with the strategies he's brought, and that he has game plans across every single step of the way. I mean, he hasn't even really had to use his lineup to full effect. He's just been 3-0ing his opponents time after time after time again as he's worked his way through the stacked field that was here at DreamHack Austin. Yeah.
See, the bans are in. Mrlego's banned away the Control Paladin away from Shoop. I don't think it was a popular ban until people just saw what it could do. It's a N'Zoth Paladin. It is very greedy, and it performed very well in the match that he was able to 3-0 in. And on the other side, Shoop going away and banning away Mrlego's Jade Druid, I believe it is. So that deck is a control killer, and Shoop's got some control decks in his lineup, so no surprise with that ban there.
Yeah, I'm not really too surprised to see the N'Zoth gone at the very least on the other side. Mostly because you're not predicting what it's going to be. So going into the tournament, you build a lineup, you're not sure what that deck is going to be. And when you see it in action, it's not even that you can't beat it, is that the uncertainty factor makes you hesitant to let it live.
Well, a lot of times the tech choices you brought just wouldn't be for that style of matchup. You know, he's not running any Murlocs in his Paladin build. It is strictly control. He wants to step the whole way through up that curve until he starts finding that mega late game power that he has with Tyrion, with Lay on Hands to redraw, with Ragnar's Light Lord, hitting that N'Zoth and rebuilding the board. You know, that's something I feel a lot of players are just simply unprepared for at this event.
All right, well, this is the last time I'm gonna ask you guys. It's time for predictions. Who is going to win DreamHack Austin? Noxious.
I'm gonna go with Shoop. I've been voting against him all the way through the top 16. I was like, you know what, this opponent probably has a better chance. Shoop says no. And then Trump has a better chance. Shoop says no. Now Mrlego has a better chance. Shoop says no. I'm gonna have to go with that.
Yeah, so with Noxious having a great track record, I'm gonna have to go on his side here as well. I've worked with Shoop in the past. We've had a lot of practice sessions where we've sat down and just discussed our thoughts on the game. And I think it really helped bring some clarity both to how I approach the game and how he approached the game as well. And he's had fantastic success again on the circuits he's competed in. And I think here he's going to shoot that oop.
Shoot that oop.
He didn't go there.
Yeah, he did go there. But ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Get hyped because it's time for the grand finals of DreamHack Austin. Let's get it underway.
All right, so onwards to the grand finals of the DreamHack Hearthstone Grand Prix of 2017. Admirable, we're voting for Shoop, but at the end of the day, the lineup that Mrlego brought is one of the most consistent ones across the board. We're looking at the Hunter that's going to be played here. We've got the Warrior as well as the Paladin. So the Jade Druid being out is probably a decision on Shoop's side to just try to isolate the best anti-control deck that is in Lego's lineup. Are there that many control decks in Shoop's lineup?
Yeah, there's a ton of them. I mean, he's brought Quest Rogue to be mainly his control killer if he runs into a spot where that's something he needs to really fight against. And combo decks are something that Shoop very much likes to play with. But control is something that he has always favored throughout his entire Hearthstone career. He's brought Quest Warrior. It's been one of the dominant performers here in the metagame. He tailored Paladin away from Murlocs and towards that N'Zoth build. He loves the heavy hitting cards towards the end. And even the Mage, he's brought the Gunther Mage here, and he's teched in a Gluttonous Ooze into this build, a Polymorph in here as well to help fight against some of the bigger endgame threats and fight off against weapons that can really threaten him, and ATS fighting those value battles towards the end of the game. But the Gluttonous Ooze, we've seen been a big payoff for him, and in this matchup, it's still not dead. You take a look at the Paladin deck for Mrlego, its main goal is to get online with Murlocs very early on and keep the pressure very high. But if it manages to go to the late stages, he's often relying on Tyrion to do some heavy lifting
here
in that matchup.
I feel like the opener from Mrlego is very much in line with what he wants to see, right? When you're looking at the way his deck is built with the Grimscale Chums, with a lot of the early aggression package, it's kind of hard to get better than a 1 into a 2 with the highest stat line possible at that point in game with a Murloc War Leader, if not 2, on the back end.
Yeah, I mean, the Warlock War Leader is the big payoff card if you can land a turn 1 and turn 2 minions here. Shoop is really light on action that really fights against this. And here, he's going to suffer some consequences. Mrlego has got a lot of power on board, and Shoop needs something to check this very soon. And right now, his hand is just a bunch of taunt minions.
So here, the decision here to attack with the 4-4 instead of the 4-5 plays slightly around a Ravaging Ghoul potential, because otherwise, you could have a Ravaging Ghoul into Sleep with the Fishes where the 4-5 suddenly dies, whereas now it would be left with 1 health. A minor point, but it sets up forward for about 2 turns of counterplay.
This is really the devastating one here, and why he's chosen to commit on the smaller minion is he knew it was going to attack twice in the face of a Bloodhoof Brave. And if Shoop doesn't draw a Brawl right here, this game is all but over.
Ali Armor Smith does give him an extra 4 armor, I believe, in this spot. Although with the coin on Spiker's Seed, I am lying, and that is not going to be a sufficient amount of armor. So assuming everything connects, is that sufficient?
He's alive at 1.
1 health here.
In this situation, unless he suits it up to a Murloc War Leader, in which case that's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 points of damage. So Mrlego has found lethal on turn 5 thanks to his stellar draw. And goes up. Well, that's a missed lethal there. So now, Shoop still doesn't have a way out of this, though. I mean, this is an inconsequential misstep here from Mrlego. In some other situations, this could be very costly. But here, Shoop, he just doesn't have the recovery potential.
Yeah, the Brawl would not even help in that case. So you could technically shield block, shield slam, kill a War Leader. maybe play the dirty rat for the sake of it. He's gonna simply Shoop scoops in the face of the Paladin here. It's a very swift game.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you draw the Murlocs early on. They're heavy hitters, but that is a big loss to Shoop thus far. I mean, he's looking for that Quest Warrior to do work not only versus this Paladin deck and just snag control early on, but it also operates fairly well versus Hunter. And in the mirror match, those are the situations where it's anyone's game. A lot of times it's a race to complete the quest and then start getting that damage online. But Shoop has been showing a lot of proficiency in those long game matchups. That's largely been a big facet of it. But in this game, he's just pushed out due to the overall aggression. So he's going to suit up Mage.
Yeah, and one of the big things about this Mage deck is that it's actually quite favored against a good chunk of what Mrlego is bringing, because the Mage is capable of beating the Paladin deck, as once it gets a foothold on the board with the Mana Worms or the Arcanologist, it can chip away at the minions, find some spells to clean up, and on the flip side, it's also not a bad deck to keep going forward. I mean, you've got the Warrior on Mrlego's side, the Mage, with the way that it is built, is also capable of taking that game, so the Mage could be the saving grace of Shoop here, despite not having the Paladin available.
Yeah, there's also a fairly weak opener from Mrlego. It's very unlike the game we saw in the last, where he drew Rockpool Hunter, he drew a pair of Murloc War Leaders, and because Shoop wasn't able to answer the board, that snowballed out of control. Here, the Hydrologist is a very welcome pickup for him, so that his minions just simply aren't checked by Shoop's hero power. But Shoop has come correct in this matchup with a couple of tech choices that could really make a big impact, notably the Volcanic Potion he has in hand. He's dedicated a slot to a cheap AoE removal spell so that he can fight against these wide board positions he'll often find himself in. So that card is already a big impact, but then the Polymorph in hand as well. Again, if he finds himself in those later situations where he needs to simply fight like a big Tyrion or just even take out a Curator very effectively, Polymorph can provide that utility. His main game plan, though, is simply get the board under control, and then at that stage, start finding himself in those favorable spots, using Alex Strauzer for the big burst, hiding behind ice blocks, and unlocking the turns to get that damage through.
Yeah, and it's also something to mention about the deck, right? Like usually, or at least in the initial versions of this type of Mage, we saw the Babbling Book. And the Babbling Book's been cut in this list for Volcanic Potion. We see the Polymorph added as well. We even see Blood Mage Thalnos in the list, which is not a staple of this specific archetype. You see some people not, choosing to include it, but it helps fight for the early board a lot.
So the Volcanic Potion here kills the Hydrologist to return to hand first due to the order that the minions entered play. If minions die simultaneously, the order which they came out are the ones that will receive any effects from things like Redemption or Getaway Kodo. And in that instance, it's great for Mrlego. He buys himself back a 2/2. But Shoop, really the big story, he's just not under a ton of pressure as we're moving through this game. The lack of pressure here is really costing Mrlego a lot of ground.
So Mrlego here chose Repentance. I'm going to bring attention to that because it's not a Doomsayer type list, right? This is a list that goes with the early game package of Mana Worm and Arcanologist and Medivh's Valet. And the Repentance does not find a huge target until much later in the game. So I'm guessing he's trying to play it way before Alex Strauzer. Because otherwise you're hitting stuff like Cabal Courier and low health minions already. It's not really accomplishing all that much.
I am a little bit surprised by not only the Repentance take, but the timing of it. There's not a significant minion for it to hit in the first 6 turns of the game. So when is that actually coming into effect? I'm not really sure, but perhaps it helps him fight on board a bit. But Shoop now faced with 3 very different decisions on this Primordial Glyph, and each one of them means something different. So that Pyroblast, he's setting up for that Alex Strauzer right away here.
And I like that.
The lack of pressure, he feels so comfortable fighting in this game.
Yeah, he's got the double Cabal Courier as well, trying to find more reach perhaps later on. And now Shoop will discover what that secret was, and it is a Medivh's Valet 2/1. So effectively, this secret doing nothing but simply dealing 2 damage to a single minion. Not the biggest of issues for Shoop. He's got the Ice Block set up. He's about 2 to 3 turns from the Alex Strauzer. Can still use the hero power with the Cabal Couriers to stall. The Curator can start making things a little bit hairy, but... well, okay. Another Ice Block could be picked up by the Arcanologist.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that actually the Repentance came into effect here because it protects the Murloc Tidecaller and actually enables extra damage.
Sure.
So, that nominal effect actually did provide something for Mrlego on that turn. But Shoop here, this Cabal Courier is on point. I mean, all 3 of these options are viable.
Yeah, Meteor is currently able to clean up a good chunk of what's on the board. You're going to have to pay full mana cost for it, but that's very acceptable given how much time you're buying with it.
Ooh.
And... a Shadow Visions?
Oh, another Meteor as well. That's a lot of board clear available to Shoop. But since he's already got 1 Meteor lined up, He's already got Alex Strauss in hand. The second Shadow Visions is now going to start looking for Fireball and such to start ending this game. I mean, is Curator really going to be enough to get the job done here?
Yeah, I mean, the deck contains one Flame Strike, so technically Mrlego is extending a little bit into the Flame Strike, but if he's not too worried about it, given that he can replenish, then there's an argument in favor of what he's doing. But he's going to forego the pressure, the full pressure play, and start trading with the minions on board, keeping the Tide Color healthy.
Yeah, he has Meteor in mind when he's making these trades as well, but you know, Meteor's still just fairly effective against him, really any way you slice it. You know, it's just taking 4+ power off the board. So I'm actually curious if face damage would have been a bigger, you know, producer in that instance.
Yeah, I feel like you want to put the mage under pressure because you've already given up so much, given the early game you've had. You don't have any follow-up in hand right now. Like, you're looking at getting a Tyrion off the draw. That would be a big deal. If there's no polymorph in the opponent's hand, you can get yourself an Ashbringer, which brings you back. You've got a Spikeridge Steed as well, a Sunkeeper Tareem if you go wide on the board and protect those minions, but you can't expect these guys to stick around.
Well, Meteor pulls 5 power off the board here. And that's going to be Shoop's turn. Gentle Mega Sword, it's pretty significant here. I mean, this could fetch a lot of power.
+3 attack, Wind Fury.
He's looking for multiple Gentle Mega Swords here as well. So there's Wind Fury. That threatens a lot of damage. That's 8 damage that's on board now.
No attack buff, no +1/+1, no health buff. However, there is some sticky potential here on these minions as they're going to give plants to Mrlego when he's done with this. But Coin Alex Straza is going to be setting up for a 2-turn lethal. The issue is you do need the Ice Block number 2 to guarantee you're still alive, right?
That's the thing, is he's got Arcanologist in hand to buy that time. He's unlocked the Fireball alongside you know, the Arcanologist Ice Block turn that's there, and then he'll have Pyroblast on the following turn. Mrlego draws Tyrion, but it doesn't really matter at this point. It's going to boil down to whether or not Shoop can defend himself on the following turn. And you look at his list, there's 1 copy Ice Barrier, 2 copies Ice Block, 1 of the Ice Blocks is down. He's got a very high chance to defend himself, but if that fails, does he recover? Tyrion's in the way of that attack now.
Yeah, and Shadow Visions can help with that as well. That's one thing to keep in mind. Shadow Visions fetching the Ice Block.
Mrlego here, okay, he is able to pop the block and kill the Alex Strauza. That's a big deal because the polymorph in hand would enable that extra 8 damage. So if Shoop gets another Ice Block, that's game.
So if Mrlego does not make the trade, he's going to sorely regret this, but he's going to go for the trade with a double Mega Swords, of course, given that he does not want polymorph to let the Alex Strauza go through, preventing himself from dying to a mere Fireball with a ping. And now Shoop will need the second Ice Block to stabilize. It is not quite enough to have just the burn in hand.
Well, that's second Ice Block.
Now
and that's going to wrap it up. Shoop has got Mrlego in checkmate, I believe. Now, True Silver Champion is the draw that could change that. He would go from 9 to 11 health, but oh no, I take it back. That's an 8-cost Pyroblast. That would not change anything. That's checkmate.
You could ping with the extra hero power from the 2 mana you've saved from getting the Pyroblast from Primordial Glyph. And so Mrlego is, in fact, checkmated. And Shoop will take the game number 2, equalizing the series. That mage deck has been pulling so much work.
It really
in the
has.
event.
It's just
unbelievable.
It's a strong deck, and Shoop, you know, fortune smiles on him a little bit here. Again, he could have drawn Ice Barrier from that Arcanologist, and that suddenly would have been a problem, but he gets the Ice Block instead and ties it up at 1 apiece.
So I'll say something about the mage deck. You know, from a competitive perspective, it's a solid deck. It's unifying a few of the themes that we like to see in mage, but even from a fun/casual perspective, that's one thing we don't talk about much in those events, but this deck also has a ton of fun potential. You're discovering cards all over, flexibility, you find time to play cards you don't usually see. I just like this.
It's just a cool deck.
It just looks cool.
It just plays a lot of different angles. You know, it can play aggressive in the right situations. It can slow down the game and play for value. It can play that combo style towards the end of the game. The one thing that I'm liking about the deck is it requires a lot of recognition in different circumstances. You know, Shoop quickly realized that, you know, going into Coin Alex Straze into setting up another Ice Block with the Fireball and then rolling straight into Pyroblast was available to him when he cast the Primordial Glyph for Pyroblast. That was very early on that happened, so great recognition from him. But now Mrlego, he's going to go with Quest Warrior here, and he pitches away Fireplume's Heart. And this matchup, it's the second time he's done this now, and I'm not quite convinced that that's the right call to make.
I've seen some people argue that if you're first, you throw the quest, and if you're second, you don't, because you've got the extra card to just fight for board. And when you're the first player, you're really desperately looking for ways to fight off against Mana Worm, against Arcanologist, or you're looking for your Fiery War Axes and your Tar Creepers, right? But in this case, without the quest, and we've seen it do a lot of work against Reynad, the way that the Mr. Lego's matchup pans out is that you're effectively mulliganing to gain armor. Gaining armor to stay out of range of all the burn, and once the mage has exhausted their resources, you're good to go. But it takes a long time to get there.
Yeah, it certainly does. And if you look at Mr. Lego's deck, he's got 1 copy of Armorsmith, 2 copies of Shield Block, 2 copies of Ally Armorsmith. That's his main generation where that department is concerned. So I'm curious if the one Ally Armorsmith is actually encouraging him to mulligan more aggressively, or if he just really believes that getting that armor is paramount to his success, even if he had 2 copies of Armorsmith in that slot. Either way, the life total does mean a lot where his game plan is concerned, because he has to protect himself against Alexstrasza and then follow up burn. And so for Shoop, it largely alters his game plan, where he's not necessarily trying to set up that big combo damage, and instead he's trying to play more of that value game, utilizing Medivh to create giant minions alongside Pyroblast, alongside Fireland's Portal, and have just minion pressure get the job done.
Yeah, so here's an interesting thought. Do you have enough armor that you can technically go for the rat into coin shield slam with the armor up? So if you pull one of the biggest minions in the deck, barring Alexstrasza, so if you pick up Medivh, for instance, you would be able to kill it.
Well, that is a really big impact that can be made. But Shoop, he's got Blood Mage in hand. I'm curious if he's going to find himself hanging on to Blood Mage for a long time simply to mitigate the impact of Dirty Rat in some circumstances here. That's really the one counterplay potential you have to Dirty Rat. Just hold on extra minions in your hand to decrease percentages. But here, now he's picked up Sunwalker. That is another big hit that Dirty Rat would provide against Mr. Lego in this instance.
Yeah, Ally Armorsmith, clearly what Mr. Lego was aiming at, right? Like, he kept his coin, didn't want to play it too early. No reason to feed the 2/7 minion into the 4/3 that was probably going to find a spell to deal with it on the previous turn. Shoop will glyph into either card draw, or potentially, you get yourself some counterspell potential if you want to prevent brawls from doing anything to your board. But since you're not as board-centric as some other decks.
Yeah, I mean, he is
not that big.
He's very much on a value game.
Oh, yeah.
He has to be, keeping up with the efficiency of Mr. Lego's removal spells in this instance. And Medivh gets drawn from Dirty Rat, and that is a disaster for Shoop.
Yeah, that card provides so much value in the matchup, and the brawl's going to come out right away.
So if Medivh lives through this brawl, it's not at all the worst case scenario. He gets a 7/7 in that instance, but instead Stonehill Defender. So not a big suffering in terms of damage, but Shoop's hand's still looking really good. A lot of card draw available. Still Sunwalker to just simply start clocking away. And Alexstrasza gets drawn. That's his next big target.
That's a very early Alexstrasza. It's going to come out on curve, and so you're going to be able to start weathering down the health of the warrior before really anything happens, right? The quest is not on the board, so we're down to taunt minions one after the other. All you have to do is grind him out. He's trying to do the same thing to you, though. The upside that Shoop has is that he's got enough burn in the deck that after the Alexstrasza, if he keeps drawing, he's able to close out the game regardless of what the warrior does.
And so to me, that's the big facet here. If Mr. Lego was racing towards quest, sure, he'd be one card less in this operation, but he would have some sort of powerful effect that actually provides not only some substantial value in a lot of instances, but at the same time is also threatening to kill Shoop at some degree. So this matchup right here, the way this game has panned out versus the previous one, it makes a lot more sense to me kind of seeing this one pan out. It's very much a value battle, but it's one that right now it looks like he's losing.
And it's very easy. That's the one thing about the Mage deck is that it's filled with value cards, right? We're talking about the Discover Glyph. We're talking about Cabal Courier, which can net you exactly what you're looking for at any point. But it's also containing its own win condition with Alexstrasza, with the Pyroblast and the Fireballs. So at the end of the day, you're able to fight on multiple fronts. If the warrior is playing for the quest, then your goal is to burn, find your burn, assemble it before the quest comes up. So after it's come up, then you're able to burn without the armor gain that can be generated with the hero power. And if that doesn't happen, then you can just play a value game alongside him and eventually exhaust him.
Yeah, I mean, these are the situations where Shoop feels super comfortable too, is in these long, grindy battles where he understands, where to use resources properly, whether or not he should be playing for tempo, whether or not he should, just be building a large hand to have a lot of options. Everything's lining up pretty darn nicely for him at this point. Fireland's Portal into this, this 3/5 here is super effective right now, and it's just more damage start clocking away.
Yeah, playing for board against a player who's already dropped a brawl after the first Dirty Rat. So now there's one more ball in the deck. We're looking for, an AoE to go with Sleep with the Fishes here. Without that, these minions look like they're going to be sticking around.
And that's really something to consider here is for Mr. Lego, if he plays this Primordial Drake now, it soaks up a lot of potential damage. I think it's on his radar here. Also sets up for Sleep for the Fishes on the following turn. So this is about as good as it's going to get from a defensive measure. And at this stage, though, that quest, we're far off completion of that, and it looks like a dead draw.
Yeah, and Shoop here had the option of going, all right, let me use my burn to kill your Drake, and then connect with the face, protect my minions, but he's way past protecting his minions here.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, those minions are dead already. Sleep with the Fishes being a card, second Drake being another card.
Well,
You're not
second
expecting
Brawl
this
gets drawn, but there's not really much to hit alongside that second Brawl. It just adds fodder to the field. So if that Alexstrasza lives, you are looking at a big win, but instead it's Dirty Rat. So now Shoop, he's got how much damage in hand? 6, 11. He's got 17 damage
in hand,
over a
yes.
couple turns here.
Over 2 turns, he can just put everything into Mrlego's face. And we're not even talking about the ping here. Fireland's Portal to face right now with a ping sets up a Fireball, Frostbolt ping, which lets you get all the damage in and win. But if there's armor generation in hand, you are potentially throwing that out.
Yeah, so he has 19 damage overall, strictly with hero powers here, but he wants a Discover effect instead.
Yeah.
So 15, 16, 17 on Mrlego's side now, and 12 points of burn on Shoop's. But that Chittering Tunneler is actually really important. That provides a significant amount of extra discovery that he wouldn't normally have.
Yeah, and the quest for Mrlego is underway. I believe it's at 4 out of 7 already, despite having drawn it somewhere in the mid-game. Shoop has Meteor to go through if he wants to. Play the Chittering, get some more value. Either way, he's got all the burn in the world. There's almost no resources left in Mrlego's hand. And Shoop is in a very solid position here. Neither of these spells really accomplishing all that much.
Yeah, not quite the strongest pull from Chittering Tunneler there, but you know, it's that discovery isn't quite as important as just the body itself and clearing the way so that minions can start stomping by here.
Are we Deathwinging?
Oh my, yeah, that's definitely Deathwing. Those are dead cards. So now Shoop, he's used Meteor, but the Deathwing really just isn't that big of a threat at the moment. You know, Shoop's sitting behind an Ice Block, I believe, and he's...
Has he played Ice Block?
Oh, no, he hasn't played Ice Block.
He's played no secrets yet.
Yeah,
so
you're right.
Shoop has just the ability to go all in on damage. He can play Ice Barrier for precaution, I guess. Any minion you play down looks so threatening from Mrlego's side.
Exactly. He just wants to get 3 damage from a Medivh's Valet more than just about anything else. Gluttonous Ooze is like, you don't even have a weapon.
And even if you did, do I care?
Yeah, I mean, is Mrlego going to face in this spot? No, he's got a trade. So the minions being on board are valuable. Acolyte of Pain is about as dead as it gets. Yeah. And that means Mrlego is about as dead as it gets. Shoop is taking a 2-1 lead here and will be on match point to win DreamHack Austin.
And this mage deck continuing to tear through the ranks of the players who just try to pit themselves against it. I don't exactly know what it is, but no one seemed to have been prepared for this. This deck kind of came up recently, right? On the back of Gunther, I think, coming up with the initial concept, double babbling book, get all the value possible. A lot of people have been playtesting similar lists, but as it turns out, once you start refining it a little bit, you end up including a few tech cards, more resilient against big minions that you don't have answers to, and you can discover those on top. So you can almost justify including one-ofs, since you can discover so many of them.
Yeah, now it's after game 3. Players do have liberty to take short breaks if they need to. Shoop has stepped away for the time being, so he's got a few moments to take a breather, a little bit of rest.
Yeah, Mrlego left to his own nerves on the chair there, and he's got Hunter left to fight off against that mage. How do you feel this matchup goes?
Well, I think
you had to take a guess here.
To me, it boils down a lot to the early game. You know, Hunter is a deck that wants to very much take advantage of the fact that it can get a minion online and then start buffing it. You know, we saw Mrlego keep Kindly Grandmother and Animal Companion as his 2 and 3 drop going first. And one of the big payoffs of this deck is landing a minion on turn 1 and having, Dire Wolf Alpha, Crackling Razor Maw, just anything to follow it up and start compounding the pressure that's there. Once that happens, your minions start to get repetitive damage. It makes Houndmaster a really big payoff card in those circumstances. But if you don't have that early curve, the deck suffers a lot where its minion synergy is concerned. So it's very easy, but you need a lot of minions.
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, Volcanic Potion is like the only early game board clear that the mage has. And then we're talking about a deck without Blizzard, so no mid-game board clears, 1 Flame Strike at the top end. So while you can discover a way to freeze the board, it's still not a guaranteed thing. And so I'd say that the Hunter, if it's just able to get on the board within the first 3 turns and get some damage in and avoid the Frostbolt shenanigans, then they're good to go.
Well, that's a tall order. I mean, you're looking at Manowar, Arcanologist, Medivh's Valet, Frostbolt, Primordial Glyph Confined Stuff, Gluttonous Ooze to fight against Eaglehorn Bows. The Medivh's Valets behind the secrets are big value here. He's teched in the Volcanic Potion. He's got Polymorph in case Savannah Highmane hits the board in a timely manner. The Shoop has built this very much to tackle these kinds of situations. And not only that, he's got another deck to try to win with afterwards. You know, he's got Quest Rogue on the back of that. And I don't think it's the greatest matchup against Hunter, but if he drops game number 4, he's happy to have another chance. You know, the big things to look at there are how effectively he can use Glacial Shard. You know, he's got the Wisps built in here as well. That is a decision that's mainly teched to fight against the aggressive decks more actively.
Yeah, you're talking about a deck that is going to be online a little bit quicker, right? You're trying to bounce zero-cost minions, that is, to just get the quest as early as possible. We've seen Skaka play this, I believe, on stream earlier during the tournament, and, you know, starting with 2 Wisps in hand, given that's a dream scenario, it's still one of those things that the deck aims to do. As far as the Hunter goes, though, I think the Mage just seems to cover every angle. Like, if I just look at, you know, the way the deck is built, sure, it's missing some board clears, but it's got the ability to find them. And I'm really not worried at all about that Mage deck against the Hunter.
Oh, I think, so much of it is seeded in early game. You know, if the tech cards line up right, Shoop is going to find himself in a good spot. But you don't always draw the cards you need. You don't always have the perfect hand. You know, how do you play when everything hasn't lined up your way? That's what's separating players from the rest of the pack, is when you have those below average hands, can you still manage to find yourself the right spots?
Yeah, we heard some cheering in the crowd for Shoop as he came back, and he's ready to play potentially what is the last game of the event. If he beat the Hunter, he is the DreamHack Hearthstone Grand Prix 2017 champion, but he still has to go through that last Hunter.
Yeah, this is a really tense game here. You know, Shoop's a very well-respected player amongst his peers, known in the North American scene, and he doesn't have a ton of time to travel the circuit and really compete, but when he makes it out to events, he's here to play.
All right, the game is currently loading. Nerves are getting to Mrlego. Very typical of, you know, players that don't have much experience, and even players that are experienced on the circuit still get nervous at the very end there. You almost can't help it.
It's very normal to get nervous when there's a lot of stuff on the line. It's how you handle that pressure that really makes a big difference. So here we go. It's match point for Shoop as we get into game number 4. Mrlego needs back-to-back wins with his Hunter if he's going to take this game.
Yeah, well, a very good hand on both sides. Now, Gluttonous Ooze usually better for the player who plays it when the other is keeping an Eagle Horn Bow, for instance. Eagle Horn Bow, a very good card to fight off against Archaeologists, against Mana Worms. Sure, it's slower than Fiery War Axe, and you do not play Secrets, but it's still good enough to get the job done. Protect your 2-drops, protect your early game.
That's the thing. I mean, we saw how effective Fiery War Axe was against Shoop in the previous game. You know, it wasn't able to completely get the job done, but it does a great job at starting to shut down that early assault. So Shoop is opened up with Archaeologist. That'll oftentimes draw the attention of the Eagle Horn Bow on the following turn, and he's got Gluttonous Ooze waiting right away.
Yeah, and so we'll see here that the Archaeologist at a 2-3 is giving Mrlego a good reason to coin out the bow. But Shoop will answer immediately with the perfect Gluttonous Ooze that contests the 1-1 on the board. There's no way to trade up into it immediately without a Huffer or some other form of damage, another bow, for instance, off the top, or wasting a kill command.
Well, it's a big turn, and then, you know, not to scoff at it, but that 3 life can mean a lot too. You know, that's an extra hero power or 2 down the road that Mrlego's looking at. But 2 animal companions and no direct burn in Shoop's hand. And Huffer, honestly, I think is a fairly poor role at this stage. Mrlego doesn't have a hero power that interacts with the board at all, so Volcanic Potion can clear out the board here. He can simply trade into Huffer and start redeveloping if he wants to. Shoop's got a wealth of options in front of him.
So do you ever try to glyph instead and maybe pick up a Frostbolt or, you know, some other tool instead? Or do you want to use the Volcanic as early as possible to stave off, again, the aggression that the Hunter so relies on
I like
transition into mid-game?
I like the Volcanic Potion here because Shoop's often going to be using that Gluttonous Ooze to trade up anyway. And so in this instance, he not only connects for 3 damage, but he's also just threatening the next minion. I think this is a wonderful use of the minion's health here as just a pure resource.
It certainly worked out, and now the Direwolf Alpha will be a 2-5 prime target for Houndmaster whenever that happens. And, you know, it's a minion that's not that easy to push off. A little bit of a difficult turn for Shoop. There's a lot of options. You can pick up a card while developing with a Cabal Courier. There's the Arcane Intellect that lets you get through your deck. I'm partial to getting a body on the board.
I think a lot's going to have to do with this glyph.
Wow. Oh, wow.
That's a good glyph.
That's a really good glyph.
Now, the one issue Shoop's suffering from is he doesn't have anything to add alongside the potion. If he had an Archaeologist here or a Blood Mage, this would be an easy take, I think, on the Volcanic Potion. But it still might be the take.
I don't mind Frostbolt, right? You can Frostbolt and play the Cabal Courier at the same time. Develop on the board. It does a very similar job at the end of the day.
He's gonna go with Volcanic Potion. He's looking at his turn 6 in this spot. So now he gets to have the option to either Ice Block and play Cabal Courier, or to Arcane Intellect and see what his options are, or to Cabal Courier and look for something that's gonna make an impact there. Mr. Lego's hand, meanwhile, he's relying a lot on these Scavenging Hyenas, and a second Huffer gets rolled. 6 more damage this turn.
Yeah, a lot of Huffers from Mr. Lego. Recently, all connecting. This is really important for him to get to, right? He needs those Huffers because he needs the damage output to not be halted at any point. The second Arcanologist that is bringing out secrets. We are looking, however, for a way to defuse the Huffer Bomb. This is a lot of damage.
It's gonna be 8 more that connects here. And Shoop does have Ice Block, and he does have Medivh's Valet for the following turn. So we will be able to start fighting for tempo in the coming turns, but it's looking like at this point Shoop's going to be on a defensive Alex Strauza plan to make a full recovery here. So this is a full fight for value and board.
Wind Fury.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 damage available for Mr. Lego this turn. That is heaps.
Where's that potion? Yikes. This is starting to hurt now for Shoop. He does have a way to stay alive. He's got the Ice Block. He can stave off aggression, especially if he keeps himself afloat in terms of health, but you know, Ice Block Medivh's Valet is not bad at all in this spot. You do need to sequence it properly not to get destroyed by the Hyena.
This is looking tough. That Wind Fury was a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Crackling Razor Maw is so good in the Hunter deck.
We'll have to see what Shoop opts to do, but he's going to go for the Arcanologist, get the second Ice Block potentially, or an Ice Barrier.
Ice Barrier, I think, is a pretty good pickup for him at this stage. You know, that extra life, Mr. Lego is going to be looking at this going, I still need minion pressure to get this done. You know, if he attacks, that could be a liability in this game.
Double kill command would put Shoop at 1 health, sorry, but it's not enough right now.
Well, I mentioned Savannah Hyman earlier, and Shoop's got Polymorph ready for it. This is going to be a massive tempo swing in favor of Shoop. This is exactly the kind of turn Shoop needed to get back in this game. Now that minion attack has become extra life for Shoop to work with. He's got Polymorph set up, and he's got minions on board to start to fight immediately.
Yeah, the Polymorph is key here. We were talking about this earlier, but this is one of the prime minions you want to hit with it, really. The Highmane in the Hunter deck is probably the only target you're looking for, ideally. And finding it on curve, having the answer through the Cabal Courier with Mortal Coil. Finding Alex Strauza for the offensive push or defensive healing.
Shoop might have turned the corner with that draw here. I mean, that was the one thing that he was concerned with, was just simply getting pushed out of the game via his life total. But now that he's drawn that, he's got to feel comfortable in this.
And I mean, look at this, right? He's got all the value in the world. Card advantage is on his side. Board is on his side. Health is going to be on his side soon enough. What is he missing?
Mr. Lego needs a huge draw here, and Kindly Grandmother is not huge. This Hunter deck has a lot of low-cost cards at this stage of the game. Unleash the Hound's not going to be super effective. Shoop's not creating a wide board state. You know, Scavenging Hyenas, they're very weak if you can't couple synergy with them. You know, second Savannah Highmane is about the only big cards left in the deck, and Shoop's got a lot of damage to fight against it. More ways to protect himself with Mirror Image. Noxious, we could be looking at our final game of DreamHack Austin.
Yeah, the game is not completely over, but Mr. Lego will find out very soon just how dire position he's in. The damage is coming in. We're getting Frostbolts headed to Mr. Lego's face, like minion that is, to go and push some damage with the 2/2s on the board. I don't really know if anything but like a double kill command with Unleash would save him at this point. Wow, with Ice Block set up, does it matter?
I think with the Scavenging Hyena and the Unleash the Hounds here, this is really Mr. Lego's only hope. I imagine he's even got to consider kill commanding a minion to simply try to protect the Scavenging Hyena. It's what he's got left.
Fair enough. The question is, does he value maybe letting Shoop overextend on the board and getting maximum Unleash damage output?
Well, he clicked that hero power awfully fast, so the idea of protecting the Scavenging Hyena, you know, maybe that fell by the wayside here, but Fireland's Portal even ready in Shoop's hand. He's got all the answers to everything.
And there's no answer in the deck, by the way, to Alex Strauza. There is nothing in that deck aside from a single Hunter's Mark that could answer it. Mirror Image can come out to protect Shoop if necessary, but second Ice Block, I mean, you need at least 2 turns, 3 turns to kill the mage player here. How unlikely is that?
It's looking really unlikely right now. It's big Unleash the Hounds, but you got to chew through 4 taunts if that Mirror Image hits play first.
And even then, the Ice Block is set up, and there's so much damage on board. You're probably dead next turn.
The Atiash actually can't summon anything here. Shoop's gonna get Shoop's gonna get in there with the Atiash.
Go get him. That's what you've got to do.
That is not help.
That
is unchecked Medivh.
7-7, not answered.
Yeah, everything would have to go into the board for Mr. Lego to make an impact here, but those taunts are soaking up too much damage. He's too wide on board. He's got Fireland's Portal.
Now, if you count the damage, you'll realize very slowly that you have to kill command a minion to even stay alive for one turn. He's just gonna go, all right, let's assume this is
Mr.
a
Lego.
spellbender.
He knows it's
And even
done.
then.
The damage is not there to deliver, and Shoop is gonna take it 3-1 over Mr. Lego and become the 2017 DreamHack Austin champion.
The damage is pouring in to close out the game. What a relief for Shoop. Able to
The
attack with
Atiyesh.
Medivh's weapon, Atiyesh, to close out the series. Legendary mage, am I right?
GG.
Yeah, well done. Well done to Shoop here, shaking hands.
This tournament win has been a long time coming for Shoop as well. He's been a strong player in the scene for quite some time now, and finally he finds himself at the top of the field, absolute #1. Nobody has defeated Shoop in this tournament. You know, maybe a match or two, but that's during the Swiss portion. The tournament's over now. He won.
And now we've got the handshake picture. Memories of DreamHack Austin 2017.
You have to give it to Mr. Lego here too, though. I mean, he had a stacked bracket he had to fight through as he moved his way through this top 8. I mean, that second at this field, that is something to be proud of too.
It's very impressive, but man, Shoop's been waiting for that breakout victory for so long. He's got so many fans in the crowd. When he went to take that break, everybody was like, Shoop, 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 Shoop. It was pretty intense, man. And I'm so happy for him. We remember seeing him at One Nation of Gamers like 2 years ago or something, you know, just dominating the field, you know, waiting for that big breakout performance. And what a performance it was. That mage deck doing some work. He had the 3-0 with the N'Zoth Paladin. The N'Zoth Paladin, nobody else in the top 16 brought that. Pretty crazy stuff, man. Really impressive.
We saw it in 2016.
Yeah.
But not in the top 16.
I mean, it was scary enough that
Yeah.
when people started seeing it, the next 2 games, banned. We didn't get to see it again. We saw it once,
Yeah.
3-0, then never again.
And we're actually going to welcome Shoop to the desk as well to get an interview going. We actually have a headset special for Shoop. This is the Shoop headset. Go ahead, buddy. Don the headset. That's your prize.
Beautiful, thank you.
Beautiful. There it is. Congratulations, man. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
And well-deserved. Here's your DreamHack Austin trophy. Everybody, I present to you the DreamHack Austin champion. It's Shoop. Good job, man. First question, I mean, the question we always have to ask everybody. How does it feel, buddy?
I'm actually feeling pretty calm right now. I think I had a take everything as it comes approach to this tournament. I mentioned on Twitter, I missed my flight to this tournament, so I took a red eye. I had 0 hours of sleep going into day 1. And at that point, you can't really have too high expectations for yourself.
Yeah.
So I think I was relaxed. I think that really helped me.
Yeah, it definitely did. You seem to be calm, you know, spotting the lines, the Power Blast pickup from the glyph into, you did the math, man. You saw the lines.
Yep.
But talk to us a little bit about your preparation for this tournament. How did you settle on the N'Zoth Paladin? How did you settle on the Discover Mage with some of those tech choices?
So I really focused on archetypes more than lists. I think there are a lot of viable control paladins out there. I don't know if, like, leading up to the tournament, I was worried about my paladin. I decided on control paladin and sort of at the last minute and submitted the first list I could find. It performed incredibly well. I'm really happy with it, but I don't think there wasn't that much thought to N'Zoth over other types of control paladin.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people had success with it, but you are, in fact, a real-life adult, so you do have other responsibilities. How do you manage to find a balance between like making sure you stay competitive with Hearthstone and try your best to make it to events and actually doing real-life things?
I've been working a lot on mindset. I think Hearthstone can be done with relatively little time commitment. If you're smart about when you choose to play, if you're smart about like what you play, if you prepare well as opposed to grinding a lot. And there are certainly like things that grinders do really well, but I think I found a good balance by playing smart.
Yeah, playing smart indeed. And you have a lot of supporters in the audience, a bunch of people I know. You're respected among a lot of your friends and practice partners and people that have been around the North American scene for a long time. There they go. There they go.
The crowd goes wild.
The crowd goes wild for Shoop. Man, how much does that mean to you? Do you have any like special players that helped you prepare, anything like that? How does the support help you along the way?
Yeah, I mean, ton of people. Let's see, like Team Hamboys, so Ray, Bloody, Hamboy, LBYS, Cora, a bunch of people who helped me with theory crafting, Owen, Andrew, and Ellie, and then just Rage as well, I should mention, for practice. It felt so good to arrive here on no sleep and just have this supportive family waiting for me. Really meant a lot.
Yeah, did Rage recommend a Blood Warrior Arcane Giant deck?
He did not.
He did not?
She was quite helpful with prep.
Okay, okay. He swears that was not the reason why Hot Meowth.
I agree with him.
Yeah, okay. I agree with him too, for the record. But you guys have any questions for the champion, the DreamHack Austin champion, Shoop?
Well, should we expect to see you at more events after this one?
Yeah, I certainly hope so.
Okay, awesome.
I just want to congratulate you. I think this win's been a long time coming. You've been a fantastic player for a long time, and finally you're the one who's on top. Nobody else won this tournament but you.
Thank you so much.
Are we gonna see some streams with your dusty webcam?
I got a new one.
You got a new webcam. What?
There will be actual quality webcam streams.
I want the dust.
Gave it a
provide
feeling
dust-
of
The dust off of his
Sub-goal.
webcam.
Sub-goal dust stream.
For people that don't understand that, Shoop used to play in One Nation Gamers tournament, and he'd always play on this webcam that he swore was good quality, that would have like dust. It was terrible quality, and one day he's like, oh, there was just dust on it. And then he logs in the next day, they show his webcam, it's like the crispest quality ever. It was the dust all along.
A new man was born.
A new man was born, and maybe wiping the dust off his webcam was the reason why he came here and won today. That was what you needed. But once again, congratulations, Shoop. It was a pleasure to watch you. And again, I know the crowd is, yeah, they're somewhere out there. Guys, give one last round of applause for your champion, Shoop. And there it is. And that's going to do it for us on the broadcast. Again, a big congratulations to Shoop, but that's it for DreamHack Austin. We'd like to give a huge shout out and thanks to everybody who tuned in any minute across the 3 days, and all the players, all 200 plus of them who played in the Swiss rounds as well as the side event. DreamHack will return at DreamHack Summer in Sweden in June, so make sure you guys tune in then. But for now, from myself, from the casters, from our champion Shoop, and everybody here at DreamHack, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.